am from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and the decisions that will affect my life. I think it is right that socially I am afforded the same respect as men. But sadly, I can say that there is no one country in the world where all women can expect to receive these rights. No country in the world can yet say that they have achieved gender equality. Thank you very, very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to everyone. First and foremost, let us praise to Allah who has given His mercy and grace for letting us to be here. Alhamdulillah. And not to forget, salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from darkness to brightness. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is so interesting, which is gender equality acceptable? What is gender equality? Gender equality is achieved when women and men enjoy the same rights and opportunities across all sectors of society, including economic participation and decision making, and when the different behaviors, aspirations and needs of women and men are equally valued and favoured. So, today we have invited 5 panelists who are experienced in their own respective fields. The first one is Datuk Sri Hafizuddin Zaidi. He is a minister from Ministry of Human Resource. Thank you, Dato', for coming today.
Thank you.
The second one is Tan Sri Solihin Zuhairi. He is also a minister from Ministry of Education. How are you today? Tan Sri?
Alhamdulillah.
The third one is Datuk Sri Nasrul Nizam. He works as a director from Department of Community Development. How are you, Datuk, today?
Alhamdulillah.
And the only female among our panelists today is Dr. Nurul Widat Zambi, and she works as a psychologist from Kuantan Specialist Hospital. How are you today, Doctor?
I'm fine.
And the last one is Tuan Haji Ashraf Adam, he is a director from Department of Mufti. How are you today, Tuan Haji?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, thank you.
Without further ado, let us hear our first panel's opinion, who is Datuk Sri Hafizuddin Zaidi.
Thank you to our moderator and audience for having me to involve together in this forum, which is the topic about gender equality is acceptable. I will try my best to share my knowledge and capability in human resources with this topic. First thing, what I want you to know, women comprise nearly half population of Malaysia. In the 20th century, the statistics shows consistent increase of the labour participation women in the economy. Almost 60% of women within age of 16 years and over were involved in industrial labour. This is the proof of the okay. Gender-based salary discrimination occur when the labour woman given a salary to the labour woman lower than compare given a salary to labour men. Well of them to do the same job, to do the same of education of level of education and the same experience. 1,000 of studies prove that women paid lower salaries than salary men regardless race and ethnic group.
Thank you to Datuk Sri, and I bet everyone realized with the issue that Datuk Sri said just now. Next, as a Minister of Education, is there any issue about gender equality in education, Tan Sri?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to the moderator for inviting me. I agree with the topic and I will explain why. Islam emphasizes its ummah to pursue knowledge without discriminating gender. To prove that, we can look at the first revelation to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is Iqra, which means read. Firstly, issue of student interest in subject. Factor also play a role in the equality of educational opportunities in Malaysia. This is because most girls and boys are more likely to choose subjects that are more interesting than. The studies of Muhammad Uzidullah about student interest in mathematical subject 4 students in 3 schools show that male students are more likely to focus in mathematical subject than Malay dominated by female students. This analysis was carried out by observation method in each class and also through the result of student in examination. This is also can conclude that interest in the subject depend on the gender of student. Secondly, there is no equality of opportunities in subject. In addition, in some subject there is a gap that there is no equality opportunity between girls and boys. For example, in engineering related field, male students are more expert than girls. Besides that, nowadays we can look, most of girls are only given a chance to be compared to men in household economic, that is ERT. Although there are some male students who have a tendency in cooking, but they are not given to the opportunity. Therefore, teachers need to plan their teaching and learning activities according to the students' tendency. This can open up opportunity for female students to work in areas that controlled by men and vice versa.
So thank you Tan Sri for your opinion just now. So we move to our next panel. So Datuk Sri Nasrul Nizam, what is there any issue regarding gender equality in community?
The right for freedom of associations between the man and woman is essential. This is because view of women today is the more modern and precise society. For such as for the example, in the political world, women need to choose their own master. This is because the woman that may have to be a master, and for the reason is if men can lead, why not woman cannot lead? So in that case, woman rights also means as a woman, right? So however, in today was full of the problems, and when our words becomes more essential and aquatic, so the right of women and young women can be seen as being reduced, impose limits, and their role is reversed. So for my opinion is discrimination is real, and discriminations again on the women and the girls, and it is increasing as it take into account imbalance in terms of gender equality between men and women. It also was named as the widening gap between the sex in the society and nation is among the country that reach new levels. So in that case, for my opinion is if we can see of around of the words, in the aspect of the traditional thinkings, cultural and religions, that we can see that is a gap between men and women, and this is a equality of the men and the women. And for me, this is not rational for this world. Okay, so in fact, the legal right of women who have never been in line with women and men is any of the connotations of the words. So it was increasingly eroding. Some quarters also question the right of women to care for their limbs and to try to compromise them. Women are also commonly subjected to extortions and treat whether in cyberspace and in our real life. And this is for the real example that in some of the worst case that extremists and terrorists would ideologies for the women to suppress women and girls, including about arranged marriage to beyond like slavers. And for the knowledge of the moderator and all of my panelist friends, there are many reasons that we must accurate things about the women. We must try to change by helping the women get the higher positions and at a level enabling their voice to be heard on and allowing them to control their lives and thereby ensuring their continuity of the future of their world community. So, in this regard, I am committed to effort to increase of the participation of women in their field security and security involving of the work body. The presence of women consultant increase the chance of achieving lasting peace while women's involvement as peacekeepers, reducing sex exploitations and misappropriations. So, in these reasons, in UN management, I have this as a clear map of the roadmap coverings. In the measurement stick to achieve the equality of the gender among all aspects of their operations. This is show shapes that the organizations really represents their world populations. There are some targets previously attainable. So now we must move from ambitions to the actions. So thank you for all my friends and panelists, and I give to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato, for his brilliant opinion just now. And I bet human rights is one of the popular issue in our society, and I hope everyone can get something from Dato just now. So let us move on to our next panel, which is Dr. Nurul Zamri. So Doctor, in psychology, we know there are so many differences between men and women. And can you please tell us more about it and relate it to our topic today?
Thank you to our moderator and audience for having me to involve together in this forum, which is the topic about is gender equality acceptable. I will try my best to share my knowledge and capability in psychology about this topic. In my opinion, I disagree if gender equality implemented in our society or our beloved country. In aspect of psychology, I will discuss two main points, which is masculine and feminine in type of gender, physically and mentality that relate with different emotions and thinking between men and women. Firstly, as we know, the title of masculine is for men and feminine for women. It is because they have different characteristics in their daily life. Men body strength is stronger than women, such as in sports. In sports, there is a division of men and women categories like running race, but not running man. Men are longer in distance of race because they have more energy than women. Besides, the type of male vision perspective is also different with female. Men mostly looking into someone from the outside first, then looking the inner character, which is different with female, that looking the inner character first, then looking the outside. That is the one example of ways of men and women thinking that we can relate with this issue. Secondly, physically and mentality. In physically, men have properties that are not owned by women and so on. Women are bestowed by the creators to have less strength than men. Men are able to do a heavy work such as carpentry. This is because they have a hard and a rough nature in themselves. Men and women also have different internal and external body functions. For mentality, we look into gender identity. Identity for women mostly to the higher emotions that they will easily distracted when they works and face a problem. Besides, men also have a long mind in determining the decision in matter, while the woman has a short mind in thought. But there are the advantage of women to have a gentle heart, a high shame, and a deep motherhood instinct than men. Sometimes we not realize that this sensitivity causes them to be able then to perform their duties and to be a perfect girl, woman, or a mother to their children, which is nature in their mentality.
Wow, what an interesting fact. So now we know a lot of information regarding psychologists and it is more detailed. Thank you, doctor. Now we move to our last panel for today. I have a question for Tuan Haji. What is Islam's view in gender equality?
Thank you very much to Puan Hajah Umi as our moderator, and of course the all audience for having me to share my opinions about our beneficial topic named "Is Gender Equality Acceptable?" Are about to hear is my little knowledge information about gender equality based on religion scope, especially in Islam. For me, I'm not accepting these gender equality issues. Are in the West, and they assume it as human right issues to them. In this aspect of religion, I will describe to all of you the two main issues that will support my disagreement about this topic. You can relate how logically are these points in our daily life to disagree in this gender equality subject. First thing first, I'm about to discuss about an issue about inheritance. In Islam, we call it as faraid, which came from Arabic word. Most of Western people think that Islam is such an injustice religion when it comes to inheritance. One of them is about the division that divided to men and women in the ratio that put the ratio as 2:1. This means the men will get more property than a woman. But the fact is, a woman will get more property than a man without we realize that. Yes. There were principles, and one of these principles is a woman is looked after financially by her closest male related, such as father, adult son, husband, brother, and the closest uncle. This was said by Mufti Ismail Menk of Zimbabwe. It's related to the Holy Quran, chapter number 4, verse number 34, which literally means men are in charge of women. Point is about the issue of immerse the prayer. In this case, Islam forbids a woman to be an imam in prayer. This law has decided by Imam Ash-Shafi'i in his and it has been written in Al chapter number 1, verse number 191. But some other Western take this easily. They're known as ultra-liberal in Oxford, England. These actions are totally against what has Islam actually teaches. That's all from me. Thank you.
So, Alhamdulillah, we have reached at the end of our forum for today. Before that, let us hear each one of our panelists' conclusion, starting from Datuk Sri Hafizuddin.
Okay. What can I conclude this issue about discrimination of gender? Discrimination of gender can interrupt career of women. This is the reason why I disagree with gender equality in industry. Whereas Islam say as also keep and honor of women. In one hadith from Hadith Muslim, the Prophet said, which means I wish to do good to the woman. Okay, this is my conclusion.
Thank you to Datuk Sri Hafizuddin for his opinion just now. So we move to our next panel, which is Tan Sri Solihin Zuhairi. So Tan Sri, what is your last opinion regarding this issue?
Okay, thank you to our moderator. In my opinion, we can look everyone need to learn knowledge, regardless of either man or woman, to quest to build a generation that are advanced and knowledgeable. Because without education, our thinking pattern will be suspended and we will less knowledge. This condition will breed a generation if not proactive. Thank you.
Right, so thank you to Tan Sri for his opinion just now. So for Datuk Sri Nasrul Nizam, what is your last view regarding this issue?
So for my last conclusion is what I want to highlight that we need to equally defend the right of the women, and was very important for the women because it for improve their quality life and for their future. So thank you for the moderator and for all my friends, and inshallah we meet in other occasions.
Alright, so thank you Datuk for his words just now. We move to Dr. Nurul Hidayat Zamri. So what can you conclude for our topic for today, Dr.?
Alright. In my conclusion, this is some of my knowledge and opinion about is gender equality acceptable in my role, which is psychology. Some of you might agree with me and some of you might not agree, but this is what I have experienced, believe, and look. Both men and women have their own specialty in their creation. Lastly, I want to advise with you all that investigate first before making a conclusion in order to make a solid thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for your kind words just now. So for our last panel, what can you sum up from our topic for today?
Thank you, moderator. In my scope, which is religion, this will be in my knowledge. Please make sure we do some research before we conclude the all thing at the first sight. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, we have reached at the end of our discussion for today. I would like to thank for all the panel members for their contribution in enlightening us in this issue. Until we meet again, inshallah. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Oh, the reason for my pride, you are my guide, and I will always follow your way, your way, your way. Oh, alayka sallallahu, oh Muhammad, peace and blessings on you.